Hi, everybody, and welcome to Raising Vibrations with myself, Simon. Today, I'm going to be bringing through to everyone a special message that I feel is going to be incredibly impactful for our evolution going forward, and also integrating some new thought patterns and ideas, and hopefully enabling us to actually crystallize this structure of relating to ourselves in a new way. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today in that way, is really coming across and saying, hey, we've just gone through a huge energetic shift. And this is what I felt personally about it. And this is what I think could possibly be a good way of actually integrating that into our lives going forward, so that we're actually, we're like able to manage the energies that are busy taking place for us right now, because they are certainly incredibly powerful, and they are, in a sense, giving us this beautiful opportunity to heal some of the, sort of painful experiences that we've gone through over the last 3 years, with obviously Uranus making its beautiful entrance into Aries and making that square to Pluto. So, like I said, that's what I'm going to be bringing through to you today. These are new messages that I've received over the last 5 to 6 days, and I've been digesting it. I've been chatting to, my partner in that sense as well, who's part of Raising Vibrations in that way, and we've been kind of like assimilating that into our consciousness. And so, this is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. As you know, that this video is actually attached to an article that has been written called The Shift. And that is what the title of this video is. It's The Shift. And the article itself is a combination of all types of perspectives that we as human beings have been experiencing on Earth right now. In other words, what type of attitudes, what type of awarenesses we need to now move into our lives, and what we need to consciously integrate into our lives at this point in time. And to also be able to give us a sense of preparation for what is about to take place in the next year, 2015. Because I'm sure that every single one of you at this point in time has been experiencing this incredible sort of upliftment, the sense of, hold on, there's actually something that's transversing for us at this stage. There's something that's actually changing for us. And I feel a lot more sort of in my body. I feel a lot more energetically sensitive to things. I'm really being able to access parts of myself that I didn't know was there, and so on and so forth. So 2015 and going onwards, we're actually leaving this period of time that is reflected of a lot of internal conflict and change. So powerful stuff coming through for us at this point in time. So the shift, the article, is my awarenesses that I feel are very important for us to integrate into our daily existence as we sort of start to shift into this new way of being on Earth. Now, I'm sure every single one of you have felt at some point in your awakening experience that you've come across information about the 5D, the fifth dimension, as it were, and we're moving out of the third dimension, and so on and so forth. Well, as it stands at this point in time, Earth is now very much centered in a 5D dimension. And what we are doing is that we are adjusting ourselves to fifth dimension consciousness, which is Neptune in Pisces, right? Pisces correlates to the vibration of culmination, the vibration of ending and finding the ultimate meaning, connecting back to source, connecting to the essence of purity, connecting back to the essence of oneness in that way. Where we come from in that way. And we're also culminating an entire galactic cycle of the Pisces age, moving into Aquarius. Now that culmination in itself is going to take some time. But we are right there beginning that process of shifting from Piscean age consciousness, which is, surrendering to everything and being victims to stuff. And, oh my God, the world's going to, this pain, exertion, and religion and so on, to this Aquarian age where we understand the oneness within ourselves, but we see the uniqueness and diversity that is humanity. I.e., that person likes that's that tribe over there, that's that tribe over there, that person likes that tribe over there. But essentially, we're still the same thing at the essence of us. But we are understanding our diversity and individuality. Does that make sense? That's what the Aquarian Age is all about, shifting into that state of consciousness where we all come from the same source, but we've come here to experience a diversity of what that source is about. So as we shift into that space, and we're returning back to Christ consciousness, fifth dimension, okay? Love. This is why you'll see there's this love vibration and so on and so forth, the love revolution in that way. So that's the first thing that I want to open up to share with you in that sense is that what you are shifting from is a state of consciousness that is third dimension in that way, which is just understanding reality through that dimension, just understanding that through this, fight or flight syndrome, or this sense of like threat or fear. You're just shifting out of that space. You're seeing more of who you are. You're expanding the nature of your inner self, and you're becoming more awakened to that experience. So that's why if you watch the video called Inner Security, you'll notice that a lot of what I was talking about was literally saying to you, you have to find everything from within. And when you find that space, you actually see the emptiness. And I don't mean the emptiness in terms of there's nothing of you. I mean the emptiness of the vastness of creation and space that exists within yourself, that you are the universe in that sense, experiencing itself as a human being. And when you completely digest and assimilate that truth into your consciousness, then everything starts to change around you. You no longer see yourself as just this mundane person that needs to do this and do that, but you're actually going, hey, whoa, hold on. I'm experiencing creation in that person. I'm experiencing creation in that person. I'm experiencing creation by watching this video. I.e., that when I'm watching this video, what Simon is doing is literally reflecting back to me more of who I am, because he's saying to me that this is what I'm interested in because I'm watching it. Does that make sense? Just as I'm sitting over here creating this video for everybody and sharing myself with you, I'm getting a reflection back from the experience to say that this is what I am. I'm experiencing myself. But I'm doing it in an Aquarian way, which is the objective sense, because obviously when I've created this video and you're watching it, the time space that I'm in will be different to when you've watched it, yet you're watching it in real time. Do you see how that's working? That's the fifth dimension. There is no such thing as time. It's an illusion in a sense of a perception. And what you are now stepping into is the awakened experience that when you are actually experiencing yourself and experiencing creation, you are literally experiencing in the moment that you are experiencing it at, yet when it was created, it was in a different time frame, as it were. So for me, that time frame is not the same as yours. So whenever you experience something in your reality, whenever you experience life, in that sense, you're consistently just experiencing more of yourself through the reflection of the universe. That's the fifth dimension. That's the consciousness that we're shifting into. And we'll progressively, slowly and move into this experience. We'll, as we start to assimilate this truth into our consciousness and we start to really live by this law, we'll start to see that everything around you in that way is just reflecting more of who you are. Which is why when you move into the fifth dimension, when you shift into the fifth dimension, when you are awakened to the fifth dimension, when you're awakened to the Earth's fifth dimension and you're in that space, you are now understanding to be receptive. You are now interacting with your environment and you're using the body as what? As a perception organ. This that you have here is a perception-orientated vehicle that you are interacting with, that you are experiencing. That's why you have your senses. You understand this point I'm trying to make? So that's some of the stuff that I want to really encourage you to sort of step into and to see it all around in that way. You're sensing this experience off me in that sense. So coming back to the shift, this is what this video is about. This is what this new message is about, that as we start to embrace 2015, we start to reconstruct the nature of our belief system, Saturn and Sagittarius, which, by the way, I highly recommend checking out the MP3 that I created that talks about Saturn through Sagittarius. A lot of the stuff that will be manifesting for us over the next 2 years is highlighted in that or captured in that channel. So I highly recommend checking that out on the website. So that's Saturn in Sagittarius, and it's actually squaring Neptune. Neptune in Pisces. So what are we revolutionizing here? The belief structure that we have. What are we revolutionizing it to? fifth D consciousness. So that's an aspect that I want to integrate to you guys right now. Now, as it stands at this point in time, we are also, as energetic beings, stepping into a consciousness where we are understanding us as energetic beings. And a big part of the shift in belief structure, which is what I'm going to be presenting to you guys today, is understanding your relationship to the universe, understanding your relationship to yourself, and then from that experience, literally rewriting the DNA structure that exists within you. Literally rewriting the DNA structure that exists within you. That picture on the left-hand side over there is a great tool to use to meditate with, in a sense that it is it reflects the fire energy, the fire element, and it's a specific frequency that allows you to be able to access a state of consciousness where you are understanding the relationship and being more receptive to light. And I'm not talking synthetic light, i.e. the stuff that you have in your home. I'm talking the light in terms of the sun. Because when you are reconstructing your DNA, in a sense, and you're understanding your light body, and you're opening up more to that, and you're becoming more sensitive to that, you are needing more sunlight, because the sunlight contains the photons and the light particles necessary for DNA activation. Why do you think we have chemtrails? See, we've been told that this belief structure about global warming, but the sun is actually the life force that exists on Earth. So what happens here is that the sun is receptive, or we are receptive as an organism, right? Your body, etc. And that light allows you to integrate more photon energy into yourself, which activates your light body, which then becomes more sensitive to stuff, and so on and so forth. So this is really important. Now that little frequency over there on the left-hand side, as you meditate with that, or you spend some time just feeling what that thing is doing, it is intrinsically bringing more receptivity to light consciousness. It's a frequency, okay? So pretty cool in that sense. So what I have for you in this particular instance is a video presentation that is the next step in our collective evolution. Remember, I want you to know that I'm sitting over here, and this is not something that I know that I'm here supporting evolution, and I'm showing myself how I'm doing it, but I'm also doing it for the benefit of myself, and I'm sharing it with everybody else. So I would like to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to actually be here, and for you to be sitting here going, yeah, I want this. See how that's working. I'm activating fifth dimensional consciousness by showing you how important you are to actually be here, to listen to what it is that I have to say, because then you are also collectively evolving your own consciousness, which then at that point in time will allow other people to also have that, because you'll integrate it into yourself. So thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. This has become my new thing, in that sense, is really, really stepping into the heart-centered chakra and the heart-centered self, and saying we're all here together as a collective in that way. Okay, so here's the presentation, and I really hope that you enjoy it. Okay, everyone, so what you're looking at right now, okay, is the natural zodiac, okay? The reason why I use the natural zodiac is because it's my language. It's the way that I interpret the nature of reality, okay? The natural zodiac itself reflects 0 degrees, i.e. beginning of something, the opposite of the 0 degree, which is the balancing point to create a balance between opposites, in other words, so that everything stays stable, because if one thing was going in one direction, and so the balancing point, and then what we have here is the 0 degrees over there, the Capricorn archetype, and whenever you look at the Fibonacci sequence, you intrinsically start something, you go throughout your whole entire life, and then you get to this point, and everything in creation experiences a climax. Capricorn, what you have worked for. Can you remember when you are a young person and you're going along your life, etc., and then you go to a certain point, you go, that's what I want to be, and you then go through motions of collecting information and experiences over a period of time in a very slow way, that eventually at some points, roughly around the age of 33, 34, you start to experience all the work that you've put in, and you get to this point. Whenever you look at the Fibonacci sequence, or anything that is literally manifesting for itself, like a flower that's budding, it intrinsically starts with everything closed and then progressively starts to become open, and then you see the beauty of a flower that has just literally bloomed. That's Capricorn. Look where it is at the 12 o'clock position. Look at the day, the 12 o'clock position in the day. So this is the natural zodiac. It reflects to us the way that the life works. So evolution goes this way, like that. It comes to that. So the natural zodiac reflects to us symbols about the nature of life, periods of life. Now, what you are looking at right now is the energetic shift that is manifesting on Earth as we stand right now. So for anybody that hasn't actually, sort of like that isn't aware of astrology in that sense, I highly recommend that you, once you've watched this video, come over to my website, or to any website particularly, if you wish. A particular article that I'm referring to is the one called The Ancestral Timeline, and it reflects the whole shift in consciousness and such, and it's also a part of this shift. But what I want to say is that I want everybody to notice where Pluto is at the moment. Pluto is in Capricorn, and Pluto is the aspect of transmutation in consciousness. It's where we recognize aspects of ourselves that need to be transmuted, i.e. that the nature of our reality changes. So what I'm sharing with you, the Pluto in Capricorn and the transmutation, you can see here that the nature of our reality and the way that we are defining ourselves is being completely and utterly revamped and transmuted. And this shift, as I've spoken about within the recent video of inner security, and this video as well as the article and such, is that is what you are experiencing. You're experiencing a transmutation of the definition and reality that we are as human beings experiencing on Earth. Okay? Now, to kind of like solidify this experience, or to, in a sense, make it more, less complex, if you take, for instance, a belief structure and a way of being in your life, a way that you thought the world was, etc., etc., and you defined yourself. And let's say, for instance, we attach that to a caterpillar. Then where we are currently at the moment is this chrysalis, where we have literally dissolved the pre-existing definition of reality. That's all coming down, right? In that sense, we're dissolving that chrysalis, or that's that pre-existing definition, and we're in a mutation phase. So what we are experiencing at the moment is like this absence of, within everybody, this absence of like, that's what I was, and we're experiencing this anxiety / excitement of what we're about to become. Okay? And when you are, as a human being, transitioning between, for instance, a specific type of career, or if you're transitioning specifically between, when you were at school, for instance, and you moved a grade, there was a new identity that you were experiencing. So this definition and reality that we're experiencing is relative to Pluto, and look where everything's being pointed at. Okay? Now, this cycle started manifesting itself in 2008 and will manifest itself until 2024. That's when everything will start to look very, very differently. But we need to go through the natural laws of awakening, and this awakening is becoming awake and aware to this transmutation that is manifesting for us right now. Now, as an energetic being choosing to come onto Earth to experience the physical world, we are naturally locked into the perception of time. Now, I've explained to you that time does not actually exist in terms of the totality of the universe, but from the point of view of sitting in a human body experiencing the motion of things, because that's what time is, the motion between two realities and the experience of the diversity of the two, i.e. the energetic impulse that you experience from that, you will naturally see 2024 as the fully awakened self that you are. But as a moment in time, you're experiencing the chrysalis. But you can only experience everything in a linear way, so therefore what you're experiencing is the ongoing evolutionary cycle of something that is already manifested. It's already happened. We've already experienced the 2024 thing, or it already manifests. It's already there, but we have to experience something in a linear way, just as we watch a film. The film's already been created 6 months to a year before you watch it in the cinema. But when you watch it in a linear way, so you don't actually get to the end of the film and go, yeah, we're going to begin here. You don't read a book from the end to the front. Maybe some people do, Mercury retrograde. But the point I'm trying to make is that you linearly go through things. But once you've completed it, you actually have the full awakening of it. So that's what life is about. You're already awoken. You're already experiencing something as a totality. You're just experiencing it through the motion. And that is a beautiful aspect of creation. So this transmutation of reality is a direct relationship to that Capricorn stuff. But now what I want to show you is that when you look at the nature of Scorpio and Pisces, okay, Scorpio and Pisces are the archetypes that actually change the nature of the definitions. Okay, so it's not actually Capricorn itself. Capricorn just reflects the shell that it appears to be. But the actual transmutation is this Neptune Pisces experience where we transcend or return, you know, in that sense, it's the same thing. We dissolve. Whenever we finish something, in a sense, the experience dissolves in and of itself. So Neptune correlates to the dissolving of something and then us assimilating that truth into our consciousness. I.e., you've just read a book. At the end of it, you dissolve, the book dissolves in the process, in the action of closing it. And then that becomes assimilated into your consciousness. I have that experience. Scorpio talks about the DNA structure, but also correlating to the core of something, which is why many Scorpios or archetypes in Scorpio, etc., will correlate specifically to what is the bottom line. What is the root of this experience? So what you're seeing here is the root of our reality dissolving. And as that dissolves, you naturally then create this line, this opposition between Cancer and Capricorn, because Cancer reflects how you are on a moment-to-moment basis identifying with reality. Can you see how the identification of reality? So Cancer as an archetype, all other astrology, get rid of it completely. Cancer correlates specifically to the inner identity that you have within yourself, your self-image, how you see yourself on every single moment-to-moment basis. As you are reflecting your self-identity out into the world is reflecting back to your self-identity. That's what I was telling you guys about. So when you have Capricorn or 10th house, it correlates in old astrology to the career. What is a career? It's an outward definition of your inner sense of personal self. And when you go and do a career, what is it reflecting back to you? Who you are intrinsically inside. I'm a healer, therefore I go and do a doctor's job. You understand the construct that I'm trying to create here? So what's manifesting for us at this point in time is that we are reflections of ourselves, reflecting it outwardly, that then is reflecting back to us. So I see this archetype of Capricorn Cancer as the shell that we exist within. So when we are appearing to perceive something outside of ourselves, in that sense, it's just reflecting back to us more of what we are. So as this, and then I want to add an extra thing over here, which I'm going to show you in the next slide, is that Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer all make a water trine to each other. And that's actually what happens, you know, as you are transcending, or should in this particular instance, getting to the root of something, i.e. the core of something, and we dissolve that core, that then allows for a new reality to be shaped relative to this new identity, i.e. that at one point we defined ourselves as human beings, you know, doing jobs and making money and going for a pension, etc., and, you know, buying things. And that's what our spirituality was like, trying to get a spiritual life. That was the caterpillar. Now we are in a transition phase, i.e. the chrysalis, in the cocoon. And here I'm sitting to you, sharing with you where we are at this point in time, so that this self-identity that you are experiencing is starting to dissolve and then recrystallize into something like this. You are not a human being trying to be spiritual. You are a spiritual, energetic being experiencing humanity. Do you see how all of a sudden the self-identity starts to change? And now all of a sudden you're starting to then merge into a new definition. And you're dissolving the old paradigm relative to confronting the core of it. And as you do that, you intrinsically then start what? A new cycle. A new cycle, i.e. new beginnings. You pioneer in a new direction. So these lines over here are actually what they're called evolutionary squares, okay? Capricorn makes a square to Libra in the Zodiac. It's 90 degrees. So it's an evolutionary push. And the cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn reflect change. A change in a new direction. So what's happening here is that you have Uranus in Aries, which is the next thing I'd like everybody to go and Google. Where's Uranus currently at the moment? And you'll notice that Uranus and Pluto are actually squaring each other. So what is actually happening on Earth right now since 2012? What do you think everybody was collectively experiencing on 2012? Oh, there's a new change, there's a new shift, etc., etc. Well, naturally, because that Pluto and Uranus square was intrinsically creating the new cycle that's creating a new direction that is intrinsically then dissolving the old paradigm. As we confront the core of it, we dissolve the core of it, and we create a new change, a new cycle. That intrinsically then creates a new self-identity. Why? Because if we're going in a new direction that has not been defined, we're then creating a new identity relative to something that has been left behind. Now, you take the new reality, the new definition, and you square it to Libra, and what happens is that we are rebalancing, recreating, and relating in a new way. So on Earth right now, we are having this huge Pluto transit through Capricorn that is affecting all of this over here. Uranus is intrinsically creating, let's go in a new direction, which then is causing all of this stuff to like bounce off each other. And for us to literally have the metamorphosis of humanity's consciousness from the old paradigm of beliefs of like, I'm not allowed love, we're supposed to judge each other and criticize each other, and it's about competition and who's best, etc., to, hey, we're all on this planet together. We all experience collectively pain. Why are we sitting here doing this? Why do we hate each other? Why does that person need to suffer because I'm suffering? Why can't we say, I love you? Why can't we integrate this new, beautiful essence of like, we are spiritual beings experiencing humanity, not the other way around? So I'm not trying to be spiritual. I'm actually recognizing my spirituality as who I really am, and then saying, hey, this is the human condition. And we had to collectively evolve humanity. So what's happening here is this beautiful transition is taking place for us. And this is what I would like to open up to in terms of the next picture. Okay? This is the water trine that I was talking about. This is the water element, the emotional aspect, and the energetic field that exists within you. Okay? I'll start here with Scorpio, core, desires. What are my desires? What are my compulsions? What are my fixations? Why am I here? What am I committing to? What is my empowerment? What is my soul? Pisces, inspiration, God, the meaning behind something. I'm going to do this because it inspires me. I'm going to bring this to me. And Cancer, what is the energetic vehicle that I use, that I see myself as on a conscious level, that allows me to enact the nature of all my desires relative to my inspiration? Do you see how this water trine is working? And water trine is harmonic. Trines are harmonic. So what's happening at the moment is that pre this energetic shift, every single one of us, through patriarchy, etc., has been doing this, which is, now let's just see if that works. There we go. We have been creating, so that there's two ways, by the way. There's the forward motion and there's the backward motion, or there's two motions in which this has been happening. If we see ourselves as human beings trying to be spiritual, then what happens is that we try to attach our spiritual meaning to our desires. That then allows us to be empowered. So then what we do is we attach, Scorpio, fixate this meaning to our security, to our, to our lives, etc., etc. And then what happens is that we naturally create this false sense of security, this false deception, Neptune, because Neptune correlates to illusions. So illusions and inspiration, one or the other. My dreams, is it real, is it not real? And so on and so forth. So this is the actual archetype of how we've been manifesting ourselves in this point in time, which naturally leads us to see that, to find security outside of ourselves. I'm supposed to connect to God outside of me. So what happens is that we connect to God in this place over here. We naturally connect to God in this way, which then tells us that God has desires for us. And then what we do is we fixate on that, and we come through this experience trying to consistently, every single time, attach this desire of what God is to our sense of identity. Another way to see this is that we place our security outside of ourselves, i.e. I must follow this teaching, I must follow this path because I'm, in that sense. Neptune, my desires, or should I say my inspiration or my deception. I must attach the outside perception of God to my desires that then links me to my empowerment and my security. I'm taking all this empowerment and commitment and I'm placing the security outside of myself. That then leads you to this connection here. This connection between the actual physical body and the connection to God. I'm connecting my physical body to God. And then what happens is that we go, how can a loving God create war and famine in the world the way that it does? Don't understand. Doesn't make sense. There is no such thing as God. So what we actually experience and then is the absence of God relative to our commitment to it, Scorpio, the core of it, and our desires. We don't believe it's there because we've been placing it outside of ourselves. Then all of a sudden we experience this disempowerment because if our desires and commitment to God is not there anymore, then whatever is inspiring us to do the thing that allows us to connect to God is missing. So this whole triad just falls apart. And we just follow our lives consistently following desires that we are deceiving ourselves by, i.e. desires outside of ourselves, like inspiration, illusions, excitement. Oh, I've just got this new iMac, or I've just got this over here, and that's what's going to fulfill me. And we constantly fill ourselves up with illusions and in things to fulfill this void that exists within us. Consistently all the time, we chase these things outside of ourselves. And then when they dissolve, Neptune dissolve, we experience the loss, Scorpio, because it's been taken away, transmutation. And we experience the loss of the identity associated with that. And then we feel this absence, we feel this void. And then we go and chase something else. And we consistently just keep on consuming, buying things, that just piles up over a period of time, trying to seek God. But we've lost it because the connection to God is outside of ourselves and we don't actually realize it's within. I.e. the source of yourself is within. You're looking for yourself. You're looking at yourself. You're experiencing yourself through a diversity of manifestations. And that's what other people are, by the way. Other people in our lives are manifestations of us just making different choices that reflect different aspects of the totality of creation. So my way of living life is a reflection of God. And I'm showing you what that dimension looks like. So you look at every single person around you at this point in time and you go, oh, that's what God looks like through that dimension. Now, the closer you get to people that are, or should I say, the closer you get to yourself, the people around you reflect more of who you are. Therefore, your relatives, like your close, like your partner, etc., and so on and so forth, your children in that way are close to you. They reflect more of who you are because they are reflecting an aspect of yourself that you're intimately, consistently in with. Whereas somebody that lives in Australia, for instance, and you're living in the States, they're very far away from each other, will reflect a different timeline that you have chosen right in the beginning as reflecting different aspects. But you're far away from it. So you're not seeing yourself in that sense. Does that make sense? So what I would like everybody to encourage to do as we move in this energetic shift is to do the opposite. Now that we're attaching God outside of ourselves, we're following all these things, we're consistently experiencing the absence and void, we got to find it within. This is why everybody's saying find within, look within, and so on and so forth. Because now all of a sudden we're doing this. We're attaching our soul and our desires to the inspiration that exists within us. We're connecting, Scorpio, our souls with the inspiration of God. We're finding it within. We're looking at God and inspiration and we're finding it within. And when we do that, we naturally then link. That's the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. It's this process over here. We're going this way, not the other way. So when you connect to the core of yourself and you attach the God to that connection, you naturally then align your spirituality with your ego structure. You naturally align your spirituality with your ego structure, i.e. your ego structure, i.e. the human form, becomes the vehicle that carries the inspiration that allows you then to spiritually transmute. This is the connection. This is what Scorpio is. You connect your sense to the core of who you are. And the cycle goes around like this, and you're consistently evolving through the emotional body. So as I sit right now, what I'm doing is that I'm showing more of myself. I'm connecting my desires that I feel inspired by, and I'm using my physical body, i.e. the perception of myself, Cancer, to then have a complete and utter connection to that. I make the connection to that. I connect my spirituality to the core of who I am. The core of who I am is channeled through my spirituality. And as I do this consistently, I'm following the path of my highest will, of my highest manifestation. And that's when you have fluidity. So it's not about trying to seek God outside of yourself. You're actually trying to seek within. Are you finding the God within? You're committing to that, and then you're using your body as a vehicle to experience that commitment you've made relative to the inspiration you experienced. Then all of a sudden, you start to notice that whatever you do around you is actually inspired consistently all the time, and you have filled that void. Pretty neat, isn't it? So this picture over here is the way that I would like everybody to step into this new paradigm that we are going into. And this little picture that I showed you right now is evolving through the emotional body. So every single person at this point in time will needing to be healing themselves. We have a lot of unfortunate collective distortion in our world at this point in time. A lot of us don't think that it's appropriate to love ourselves. A lot of us at this point in time think that it's very odd for me to say, I love myself, and I love myself with all my heart, and I love you, and I love every single person in that sense, and you rock. It's a little bit weird to sound that. But if I say to you, oh, you didn't do that well, like, how could you do that? You messed it up, a judgment. Then all of a sudden there's an absence of God, i.e. God is judging himself because you are the source of your creator. You're experiencing reality, so why would you want to experience anything other than just pure beauty, wonderfulness? So what I want to rewrite for everybody as we move into this new paradigm shift is letting go, firstly, of all of the predefinitions and ideas about what you think reality is, okay? And step into this new beginning experience, okay, this new direction that has absolutely nothing. And what you fill in this new direction, this new experience, is complete excitement and the celebration of your life. The celebration of the fact that you've come here to get rid of all of these, distortions that exist within your energy field, to embrace it, to let go of the idea. And this is something I'm talking to myself about, by the way. This is not something that I'm doing and going like, yeah, I've done it. It's not the truth. I'm consistently in my day, every single day, confronting my own energy field where I have distortions about. But you have to go in the new direction and let go of all pre-consisting ideas that have been attached to an egocentric structure about the nature of what you think reality should be, and step into a new road that allows you to make new choices that are high vibrational, i.e. I love myself, I deserve to experience happiness, I deserve to experience love, I deserve to go in this new direction. And why are you telling yourself that you're deserving this? Because that is the only thing that you have come here to experience, more of the beauty of yourself. But you're letting go of all of the fears and judgments and criticisms and lacks, because those are just collective distortions relative to 3D consciousness that is part of the world at this point in time. And you're rewriting yourself, and you're creating a new evolutionary beginning. And the way that you do that is by letting go of the emotional, i.e. the energetic attachment towards that in your energy field. So you're actually accepting it into your life. Oh, hello, pain. Hello, fear, etc., etc. Come in, stay with me. I want to be here, and I want you to show me why it is that I fear pain. I want to evolve through that experience. I want to confront it, Scorpio, and I want to dissolve it, Neptune, that allows me to create a new self-image that is of beauty and happiness and a sense of strength and security, not the fear that I'm ultimately able to do it. The point of this video is to encourage you to step out of this video and to go, whatever it is that my dreams are, I want to go and do it right now. And I don't care what anything in my consciousness is telling me that I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm just going to go and do it. To step into that space and to give you courage to follow through and pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue. And every single time you feel a judgment come along, or a criticism, or a feeling of lack, you turn around and you go, hey, come join me in this party, because I'm about to actually transmute you. It's so important that everybody allows the involution to take place, and for you to go into yourself and to allow to cleanse all of the heaviness, all of the emotional attachments towards things that bring you down, and that stop you from actually experiencing the beauty of what you really are, so that you can actually go ahead with your life experiencing what it is that you really came here on to do, which is to experience the dimension of earth in the physical relative to being an energetic being, i.e. that you are a consciousness God experiencing yourself through the vibration of the universe. And that whenever you do something that is in alignment with your highest will, the universe will reflect it back to you saying, hey, by the way, look at what you're doing. Make sense? Okay. How does that feel, everyone? How does that resonate with you? What does the energetic experience bring to you after listening to that? Does it make you feel excited? Does it make you feel like this is something that I'm going to do? I'm going to confront all of my sort of fears and all of my doubts and all of that type of stuff. I'm going to put it in a little box over here. I'm going to say, let's have a party. In fact, I'm going to make a welcome mat for you. I'm going to allow all the pain and distortions to come in me. And then I'm going to say to you, I love you. I love the fact that you've come into my energy field to show me what it is that I can heal about myself. It's so empowering. It's so empowering because for every single person on earth right now, you are coming into this lifetime, into this awakening to re-empower yourself relative to 10,000 years, specifically 6, of spiritual disempowerment. So there's one or two ways you can deal with this. You can either turn away from the pain and go, this is too much, I'm not going to deal with it. Or you're going to accept it into your life and go, hey friend, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming up here because this is what my journey is about. Transmute it, put more light into yourself. You're not actually, this is an interesting thing that I just realized I did myself. You're not actually taking light and transmuting darkness. You're actually allowing darkness to come into light so that it becomes light. That's what it means to be an energetic being in the 5th dimension. You're healing yourself. But the way you're healing yourself is by making high vibrational choices consistently every single day. That is saying, hey, this is an energetic experience that sucks a little bit. Why am I experiencing it this way? Have a communication with it in that sense. And it's gone. And you move along consistently like that. This is it. This is where we are. This is 2015 and moving forward is where we are. Every single person needs to put on their little big shoes, okay? Little like army shoes in that sense. Tie them strongly, get your shield, and so on and so forth, and walk out into the world with all the distortions that you see over there and just spread consciousness of 5 dimension. Start integrated into life. Do the things that you want to do that make you happy. And do it with all your commitment, Scorpio. That will start to progressively realign your self-identity that is a reflection of the universe, i.e. that when you realign yourself and you commit to your spirituality in the sense of you commit to your path, you commit to your life, you commit to your healing modality process, you will intrinsically then see the universe reflect back to you all the work that you're doing, i.e. re-empowering yourself. Be sure to keep that frequency picture in mind as you allow more light to manifest into yourself, to open the cellular structure that exists within you, and to transform your DNA from carbon-based to crystalline. Okay, everybody, I really hope that you enjoyed this transmission. I hope that it inspired you in some way, shape, or form. It is my total gift and honor to be able to be of service to you and to be of service to myself in that sense, because I'm sitting here right now healing myself through doing this, because I'm objectifying my own thoughts in that way. There is the energetic shift article that goes with this. I highly recommend every single person watch the new moon and full moon or articles or reviews that are coming up as we move into 2015, because I'm keeping everybody updated in terms of what is the next step, how to take hold of the energy fields. If you felt this video was empowering in some sense, give us a like and share it in that way. And if you're interested in learning more about the courses that I teach and so on and so forth, and so on, and having one-to-one sessions with myself and understanding your soul signature, Raising Vibrations' website is simonvorster.com. And send us an email, even if it's just to say, hey man, I love the work you're doing, thank you so much. I always appreciate that. The reason why I appreciate it is because it's telling me that you've taken this in and you've gone, this has helped me in some way. Therefore, reflecting back to me that I've helped somebody, I have helped myself. So yeah, okay, fantastic everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.